Top 10 Military training is widely misunderstood. Military and military boot camps are regularly depicted in the media. Because these representations are rarely realistic, the general public has a lot of misconceptions about military training. In today's social media world, these fallacies have spread. It's difficult to tell what's true and what's not. In this video, we'll go through 10 common misconceptions concerning military training. Everything from preconceptions about drill sergeants to the purpose of boot camps to misconceptions about what it takes to succeed in the military will be discussed. Continue reading to learn about 10 of the most common military training misunderstandings. Number 10. In any way, no contact with relatives is authorized. Many new recruits expect to be unable to communicate with their families at all throughout their time at training camp. What a terrible possibility for new recruits who are just getting their feet wet in the military. This is not the case. You will have opportunities to contact with your family, even though you will not be able to do it as frequently as you would like. Recruits are frequently offered the opportunity to make a weekly phone call. These calls normally last 5 minutes or fewer and allow new military recruits to reconnect with their families. More often than not, these phone calls benefit the recruits' families rather than the recruits themselves. Trainees can telephone their relatives and loved ones once a week to check in. Family communication used to be far less common, but that is no longer the case. Number 9. Every new enlistee in the military is huge and powerful. Another common misconception about military training is that all of the recruits are enormous. While there is a minimum weight requirement for military service, this does not mean that every new recruit is 6 feet tall and weighs 200 pounds. Of course, many military recruits are massive and powerful. On the other hand, several are of a more standard or even smaller size. These workouts are demanding but attainable for recruits of all sizes. To take part, you don't need to be a superhero or have extraordinary abilities. More important qualities include organization, teamwork, and heart. Number 8. It's a brainwashing experience at boot camp. Boot camp is unquestionably a challenging experience. Not every recruit is successful in completing the boot camp training. Years of misinformation and misinterpretations have led to the idea that boot camp is a form of brainwashing. The training camp's purpose is to bring all of the military recruits on board. Physical training is difficult and time-consuming. The mental training provided at these camps, on the other hand, may be far more important. Boot camp is designed to help recruits develop a sense of community while also pushing them to their limits. This isn't even close to brainwashing. Number 7. At boot camp, recruits are expected to fail. As you can expect, the military wants to bring in as many qualified recruits as possible. Despite this apparent fact, many people still believe that boot camp is designed to fail recruits. Naturally, none of this makes sense. Every year, millions of dollars are spent on recruiting new soldiers and military personnel. Each branch of the military makes every effort to keep as many recruits as possible. As previously said, boot camp and other training camps are designed to be difficult. The majority of recruits, on the other hand, complete boot camp and proceed to the next stage. Approximately 90% of recruits who enter boot camp finish it, according to the Department of Defense. Those aren't bad odds by any means. Number 6. New recruits will only receive physical training. All recruits in basic training will be required to participate in physical training. For the majority of the day, you'll be exercising and conducting endurance training. Many people, on the other hand, assume that boot camp is just a physical conditioning program. This isn't the case. In addition to physical training, you'll learn how to use firearms, plot, and strategize. Teamwork exercises are included in some basic training. Although physical training will consume the majority of a recruit's time in boot camp, it is a frequent misconception that boot camp is primarily for physical training. Number 5. In boot camp, a physically fit person will not struggle. Despite the fact that boot camp is hard for all recruits, many recruits arrive with a misperception. They feel they will not have any difficulties because they exercise regularly and consider themselves to be physically fit. Recruits will almost certainly suffer no matter how rigorous their fitness regimen is. Even though being physically fit gives a recruit an advantage, they will still be sore from the camp's physical training when they wake up. Regardless of fitness level, boot camp will be physically taxing for all participants. Number 4. Recruits in the military have a strong sense of patriotism. When some people think of the military, images of brave patriots come to mind. While all members of the military forces are heroes, not all of them are patriots. At the very least, not in a distinctive manner. Like any other job, it necessitates a diverse group of individuals. To join the armed forces, a citizen's patriotism does not have to be at a set degree. More important than patriotism are traits like determination, intelligence, and flexibility. Recruits aren't usually the most patriotic of people. Nonetheless, most veterans who have been in the military for a lengthy time are. Across the 6 military branches, there are a wide range of servicemen and women. Some people are patriotic, to be sure. Some of them could be rather big and powerful. Recruits must attend boot camp to learn about the traditions, tactics, and strategies of their branch. Number 3. Basic training has been softer or easier over time. The majority of the misunderstandings on this list are caused by people who have only a rudimentary grasp of the military. Present and former military people unfortunately add to this misperception. Some former military troops claim that life has become easier in the years since they departed from boot camp. Do you remember your parents saying that they used to walk 10 miles to school? Isn't it true that it was all uphill in both directions? As a result of the changes, veterans have begun to assume that military boot camps are becoming easier or friendlier. On the other hand, basic training is not for the faint of heart. It has evolved unquestionably, but so have military strategy and tactics. Soldiers are currently being prepared for contemporary warfare at boot camp. During basic training, recruits learn a variety of useful skills: first aid, water survival, firearms, and military tactics are just a few of the topics covered. Recruit training also introduces the customs and traditions of the individual military branch. Don't get the incorrect idea about how much better boot camp is. Boot camp is not for the faint of heart, and candidates should come prepared to work and probably suffer at least a little bit. Number 2. Every military member is a sharpshooter. There is a prevalent misconception that every member of the military is a sharpshooter with a rifle. This notion has appeared in a number of films and television shows, including Special Agent Seeley Booth. This isn't the case as you might think. A recruit must receive firearms training, and depending on their military branch, many will complete rifle training. This isn't to say that every military recruit will become a sharpshooter. If a recruit succeeds at shooting after completing basic training, they may be given additional instruction or special assignments. Number 1. Drill sergeants' misconceptions. Drill sergeants are the subject of several urban legends. When most people think of boot camp, they picture a drill instructor yelling in someone's face or possibly physically abusing them. Even if they are sometimes loud and belligerent, drill sergeants aren't all major pain. Drill sergeants are not allowed to physically hurt or threaten recruits. Despite this, they have a reputation for being domineering, disrespectful, and even nasty, and they rarely show warmth or sympathy. This is because the focus is on the future. Drill sergeants are responsible for transforming a bunch of recruits into soldiers in a couple of months. I wouldn't want to be in control of something like that. Many troops have positive memories of their drill sergeants. They may not have been particularly heated at the time,